Joining our discussion now is Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. He's the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee and a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and Finance Committees. And Senator Whitehouse, that was this morning. It feels like a month ago after what happened today in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, if it weren't so deadly serious, it would actually be funny. I mean, it's hard to know what the right metaphor is. Mm-hmm. Is it the, gang that couldn't shoot straight? Is it the Keystone Cops? Is it the clown car? Whatever it is, the toddlers are clearly running the kindergarten over at the House Republican caucus. This is no blame to Senate Republicans. We had a deal. Everything was fine. Chuck's concern about, getting everybody together was about timing, about getting this bill done and through the parliamentary process before there was a shutdown. There was no thought that this would blow up until it got to the Republican clown car caucus, and now we are where we are. And if you want to talk about, the toddler analogy, that goes over to the executive branch. And whether it's like President-Elect Musk or President-Elect Trump or whoever it is, they clearly have no idea what's going on. This continuing resolution bill has been negotiated for weeks. There was plenty of time for Trump to say, I want the debt limit to be considered in this bill. Never once said it until the deal was concluded and we were debating the timing of passing it. And Musk saying that we shouldn't be passing legislation, I don't think he even knows that the National Defense Bill just cleared has not been signed into law by the president, with pay raises for all of our military personnel all around the world. Does he really want President Biden not to sign that bill? Does he know that we passed the WRDA bill, the Water Resources Bill, today on the Senate floor? Does he even know what a WRDA bill is? And does he really want a government shutdown? Is that the way they want to introduce themselves to the American people? Particularly as they're about to take on the trifecta. I mean, my God, you've got a competent House Democratic group, you've got a competent Senate Republican group, and you've got a competent Senate Democrat group. The one group that can't shoot straight is House Republicans. This is a problem of the Republican side.
Well, it's very clear that Elon Musk doesn't know about any of those things that you just talked about, knows absolutely nothing.
Totally without a clue.
Right. And so it is the blind leading the ignorant and the going to be the oldest president we've ever had as he gets into office. And we just entertained the question of what is this with Donald Trump? Because the debt ceiling, Donald Trump obviously didn't know existed until he became president of the United States, but it's a pretty quick thing to learn. It's like the limit on your credit card. It's not hard to learn. And it is not hard to learn the politics of it. And so from Election Day forward, he could have been saying to Mike Johnson, look, we absolutely need a debt ceiling increase on this bill. And Johnson could have been explaining to him why you won't be able to get Sheldon Whitehouse to vote for that, and you won't be able to get Joe Biden to sign it. And if Trump had raised this soon enough, they could have aired it out. But of course, everything's done in this crazy last minute because Elon Musk, who doesn't know anything, is leading the way.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Animal House where the band is marching down the street and Elon Musk turns the band into the blind alley and the whole thing just ends up in a smash up. Mm-hmm. And the problem here is, I've been talking to some quite senior Senate Republicans today. They have no idea how the House unscrambles these eggs, how they get themselves back out of the mess that they have made for themselves. So this is not going to be an easy thing for House Republicans to unsnarl. The problem with being a clown car is that when you wreck the car, it's really hard to figure out what to do about it because you still got the same clowns.
Yeah, and then the reason we're calling this Donald Trump asking for the impossible is Mike Johnson was negotiating the only thing that he could possibly negotiate with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and you in the Senate. It's the only possible product that he could come up with. And it doesn't mean that he likes most of it. It doesn't mean that Hakeem Jeffries likes most of it or that Chuck Schumer or you like most of it. It means this was the thing that if we all have to vote for it, that we can vote for. it might be the thing in the end. It might be the thing that they end up walking back to.
They may have to go back to it.
Yeah, and
with
by
an embarrassing
Monday,
walk back by Musk and Trump.
Yeah, and Musk and Trump just forget by Monday that they insisted on debt ceiling or all these other things.
Yeah, it's a pretty stunning turn of events here, and it's got to be pretty distressing for people like Trump's chief of staff, who I think probably worked pretty hard to see to it that Musk and Ramaswamy got set off to their little doggy government efficiency playpen, where they were far away from any executive, bureaucratic, administrative, or legislative decision making, and they could just think thoughts about government efficiency. And now suddenly they're come crashing out of the playpen and into an actual deal. They had the speaker in this deal, but the speaker knew he'd need Democratic votes in the House because he can't control his caucus. And the Senate is controlled by Democrats, and the president is a Democrat. So they don't get to just have it their way. That's sort of separation of powers 101. So it's a really telling educational moment here for the American people in how little Trump and Musk know about basics of government and the situational reality of what is happening over here in Capitol Hill. Just clueless. And then, of course, you've got the Republican House gang that couldn't shoot straight, again, all in a tangle. You want 2 more years of this when they control the House and the Senate and the White House? This is going to be a fine mess.
I remember sitting in this chair and marveling the day that Joe Biden and his negotiators, the budget negotiators and senior White House staff and congressional Democrats managed to get a debt ceiling extension that would reach beyond the end of Joe Biden's first 4 years in office and beyond the presidential campaign. I just thought, why would Republicans ever give him that? How did he get that? I just thought it was a masterful negotiating outcome. And Donald Trump just realized today, just how masterful it was.
Yeah, and of course, the backdrop to this is that they're planning to loot the federal treasury to the tune of $4.6 trillion to give enormous tax cuts to billionaires like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, while those two are overthinking their own deep thoughts in the doggy pen about how to cut Medicare and Social Security and veterans benefits for regular people. This is not going to go over well with the American people. I think a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump are going to feel extremely betrayed, first by the incompetence, because they think that Trump can run things, and second by the direct economic betrayal of selling them out to give billionaires even more tax cuts.
Republicans should be asking Donald Trump tomorrow, exactly how much do you want the debt ceiling increased? How much do you need? How much of an increase in the debt do you want to create?
Yeah. And by the way, you want to come down to Capitol Hill and negotiate with Chuck Schumer?
Yeah.
And negotiate with Joe Biden and his team and negotiate with Hakeem Jeffries, or at least tell me what you want, because clearly you don't know what you want. And the things you say you want are totally unachievable. What are you going to do here, old art of the deal guy?
I want to, because you're on the Judiciary Committee, you're going to be in the confirmation hearings for Attorney General and Director of the FBI. I want to get your reaction to House Republicans, some of them demanding a criminal investigation of Liz Cheney for what they call witness tampering because of her conversations with Cassidy Hutchinson as that testimony was being approached in the January 6th committee.
This is like back to separation of powers 101. There actually is a rule for legislative immunity that protects people in Congress from being bullied by the executive branch of government for acts that they do in their legislative duties, like, for instance, operating the January 6th commission. So the whole thing just kind of makes no sense from the very beginning. And if you're a prosecutor, you know that you don't start by saying that you should, indict this person and then go looking for a charge, every prosecutor who puts a case together talks to the witnesses first, right? Mm-hmm. Every lawyer who puts a witness on the stand talks to the witnesses first. Every witness who's ever appeared in a legislative committee has been spoken to by the side that called them first. So you know what they're going to say, and it's not witness tampering, it's trial prep. And if you don't understand the difference between those things, you really have no business making important decisions.
Former federal prosecutor, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.